things to get through, so we needed to go ahead and get started early. And I know we're going to keep you later than you usually stay, so I want to also honor that time sensitivity for each of you. I'm Brenda Payne, the CEO here at the Hendersonville Area Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome all of you to the October luncheon. This happens to be a dual event this month because we are having not only our regular luncheon, but it's our mayoral forum for the election that's going to happen on November the 6th. And I would be remiss if I didn't suggest to each of you that if you have not registered to vote, I think today and tomorrow is about the last time you can make that happen. So please get yourself registered to vote. And then please get yourself to the polls, because it's an important right that each of us has. I want to thank South Central AV for their audio-visual equipment today. They have made this possible for us so that we would have the right number of microphones for all of our candidates to come and use, and also our moderators. So we really appreciate their help with that. Now it's my pleasure, as we do every month, to have our invocation and pledge. And I'm going to ask Frank Friels Jr. to come and do that for us.
When we're done praying, we will let's pledge allegiance to that flag. Right. Let's pray. Father God, we are grateful to be here today, and we are thankful that we live in a country, Father, where we can vote our conscience, that we can state our opinions. And Lord, I just pray that you would grant each of us an extra measure of wisdom as we seek to elect leaders this year. Lord, just please impress upon us your will. Please bless our community and our country, and please bless us and our businesses, and we thank you. For we pray in Jesus' name. If you'll please stand, we'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Frank. We appreciate that. We're going to be a little out of order today from our usual luncheon because we do have a lot of business to attend to. And so usually we wait until the end of the luncheon to bring our sponsor up. But we want to make sure that Erica Brister and U.S. Pest Protection get their due. They've sponsored this entire luncheon for us. And so I'm going to ask Erica to come. She's going to tell you a little bit about their business. Let's welcome her.
Thank the Hendersonville Chamber for allowing us to sponsor this event. It's a very, very, very important day today. We have a debate, or a forum, as it's called, I guess. And tomorrow night we have another very important debate. If everyone, well, today is about the mayoral debate. Tomorrow's about the President of the United States. And so take notes, take copious notes, okay? Everyone's going to see on their tables, you're going to see some notepads in the middle of the table. Make sure you grab one. There's also some pens there for you to take notes, and also understand that the mayors have their own pens and pads of paper as well, so make sure you use them. First of all, I'm Erica Brister. I'm the president of U.S. Pest Protection. A lot of you guys already are aware of U.S. Pest. You use us in your home and businesses already. But U.S. Pest is right here in Hendersonville. We're Tennessee's largest privately owned pest and termite company. We are number 84 in the United States and Canada out of 20,000 companies. And we're right here in Hendersonville. For over 27 years, we've had our flagship office right here in Hendersonville and our corporate office. So that's really exciting. So if you look, down at your pads of paper, you're going to see some interesting statistics on the top left-hand corner and the top right-hand corner. We designed these specifically for this event. And on the right-hand column, you're going to see, in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see the Hendersonville statistics. And what it says is in 1980, we had 25,000 residents. And then now in 2011, we have over 52,000 residents. So we've grown, we've doubled in size in the past 30 years. Underneath that, you're going to see that we're the 12th most populous city in the state of Tennessee. And then below that, for you realtors, it's really interesting, is that the average home value is $196,000. Those are really, really, really good numbers. I just got loud. USPS truly appreciates the growth of Hendersonville because as all businesses understand and appreciate that when a city grows, so do businesses. And one of the things that I've learned over time is that, you know, as a business leader, as all of us are business leaders in Hendersonville and in different communities, if we don't participate in this political process on a national level as well as a local level, then we deserve what we get. So that's why USPS is sponsoring this debate or forum. So we live in a beautiful city. We live in, in my opinion, the country's most beautiful state. We live in by far the world's most amazing country. And our little piece of the world here, Hendersonville, is worth fighting for. So I'm really, really, really excited about this debate and hearing what all these gentlemen have to say. We have 4 great candidates. Hopefully it'll get a little heated. Maybe it will. I know everybody's got a good rapport with each other. So thank you for having us. I'm going to move on to some giveaways that we have. And then I'm going to sit down and we're going to move on to why we're here today, which is to hear these men talk. So first of all, I have a kind of bipartisan gift, which isn't bug related and it's not politic related. It's just a $50. Where are the cards, by the way? That they put in their business card? Oh, I'm sorry. So we have a $50. Did everybody put a card in the fishbowl to win this stuff? Nobody reminded you? All right. Oh, that's it. All right. All right, you put it in. All right, so the first one for a $50 Visa gas card, if you want to use it for gas to get to the... Oh, there you go. Are these for this one? Oh, okay. I do it. You can either... Alright. I'm in charge here, y'all. Alright, the first one for a Visa gift card to manager and minister, Wish, or gas, whatever, is, let's see, Dean Germain, GMAC Mortgage. Giveaway it's an intensive fall spider treatment, as well as I had to give this you guys. I was out to breakfast at the Cracker Barrel with my family on Sunday. It's just a battery operated spider, but it's Halloween, we're a pest control company, so I had to get it, and you have a lot of fun with it because the fear of spiders transcends people's fear of death. Okay, more people are afraid of spiders than they are fear of dying, right? Well, I figured it out. It's not seeing the spider that really scares you, okay? It's when you look and you see that spider, and then you go to grab a shoe. Women, I know you've done it, you go to grab that aerosol hairspray, okay? But then you look back, and that spider is gone. That's the scary part. So, this is a 1 free intensive spider treatment fall with the spider. Okay? The winner is. You are destined to win because this is the second time I pulled this card. Steve Lawrence. Where's Steve Lawrence? 3 Funding America. Lastly, I of October, October 25th. Everyone's invited. You're going to get an invitation probably in the mail, but also through the chamber and email and whatnot. But it's going to be a fall festival, and Michael Smith, my advertising guru, told me that if I want people there, I need to have a band and booze. So both will be there. All right. So thank you guys, and again, thank you for the chamber for allowing me to sponsor it.
Erica also sits on the Government Relations Committee that is sponsoring this event today, so we appreciate her help on that. We're going to run through some of the recognitions here right fast. I want to make sure that all of you know that on your table is a list of those folks who joined the Chamber this past month, as well as events that are going to be going on over the next few weeks. And I'm not going to make that announcement in the event of time that it takes. So, but I do want to recognize elected officials who are here today. And what I would like to do, as I call your name, if you would stand, and we will wait until the end to applaud for all of you, if you don't mind. From Congressman Black's office, Teresa Coberline is here. Representative Deborah Maggart, County Executive Anthony Holt. Please stand, you all. County Commissioners Paige Brown and Frank Friel Sr., the Sumner County School Board Don Long, Hendersonville Mayor Scott Foster, Hendersonville City Alderman Steve Brown, Tommy Elston, Gary Forsythe, Hamilton Frost. We also have a representative from the Speaker of the House, Beth Harwell's office, her executive assistant, Lisa Falkenbach. So if you would all stand and let's give them all a hand. Appreciate all these folks who are interested in the political process being here. We also appreciate each and every one of you for being here today. I know many of you have come to a chamber luncheon maybe for the very first time in your life. I know that there are numbers of folks from the city who are here, staff folks and that sort of thing, who are interested in this process, and we appreciate you being here. I also want to thank Lynn Silverman, who is the chair of the chamber this year. Lynn allowed me to be the person up here in front because we decided we didn't want that Mutt and Jeff sort of, yeah, Lynn, please stand, that Mutt and Jeff sort of running up and down. So he said, take it away, and I said, okay, I'll do that. He'll be back next month, so don't worry. You will see somebody much taller here and with a beard. It won't be me. All right, so we are going to start what we are all here to do. I'd like to introduce Jim Holmes, who is the chair of our Government Relations Committee first. Jim is going to come. We are going to randomly draw for the candidates' seating position here. So if all of the candidates would come forward, please, so that you can figure out where you're going to sit. We wanted all of this to be totally random. Now, it's up to you to figure out what numbers you're at. Okay. Thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate that. It is my great pleasure to introduce my good friend Scott Couch to you. Obviously, he needs no introduction. You see him on Fox News 17 all the time. He's a resident here in Hendersonville in Sumner County. He really supports his community through so many different efforts. On the Y board, he's a graduate of Leadership Middle Tennessee. He just does lots and lots of things for us. And he was so gracious to agree to take time out of his day today to be a part of this with us. So if you all will please give a warm Hendersonville Chamber welcome to Scott Couch.
Delighted to be with you. I want to put my glasses on because I'm a man of a certain age. I can't see anymore. And I think I know why people in this neck of the woods are more afraid of spiders than they are of death. A lot of good Christian folk up in here. Right? Not afraid to die. We know how this story ends. I want to read you guys a little bit of the format so you'll understand exactly how we're doing what we're doing. This forum consists of 3 different sections. We're going to begin by giving each candidate 2 minutes to give opening statements. And that's going to be followed by questions that were submitted by some of the people in this room, members of the business community here in Hendersonville. And we're also going to have a 2-minute time frame right at the end, so each of the candidates can give a closing statement. That's their last bite at the apple. It's important that you all are here. There are a lot of opinion shapers in this room. The men here that are offering themselves as candidates for this office all currently are engaged in the political process. Told Steve Brown, I see you guys on Channel 3 all the time. I drag in late at night and watch the proceedings. We live just outside the city limits of Hendersonville, but I've got a Hendersonville mailing address, but watch with great interest what's going on here, and I see all of these men out in the community. Brenda Payne was very gracious to me. Over the weekend, I saw 2 of your candidates at an event where we were raising money to teach kids right here in Sumner County, first graders, to learn to swim through the YMCA. They were really nice to come out and turn out for that. And our county mayor, Anthony Hope, who's a friend of mine, has been at some other luncheons and things that we've done to raise money for that. To the extent you guys have supported that, I appreciate it. I've seen the other 2 candidates just in the past about 48 hours, and these men are out in the community, and I know you guys see them as well and want to serve. Now, during the question portion of this forum, I'm going to ask questions that have been supplied to me by the Government Relations Committee of the Chamber of Commerce. And I want you to understand that, so you don't think there's any bias in who's asking what or where these questions came from. They weren't generated by me. Each of these questions is going to be answered by 2 of the candidates, and that is to say everybody is not going to have the opportunity to answer every question. We're going to start with the candidate closest to me and going in order, and then after that, the second candidate is going to rotate answers. We're going to move it around so that one person doesn't get to answer every question and others seem to answer last. We'll move it around. I think you'll find the format to be fair to every one of these candidates. Now, each candidate will have a maximum of 2 minutes, as we say, to answer each question. And in addition to that, the candidates have been given a red card. You guys see those red cards on your table? You may have wondered what those were. Identify those. And what it is, this is not a debate. We were kind of joking about that. It's not a debate. It's a forum. And Steve, if you don't have one, we're going to find one for you. But it should be, there it is. There it is. Well, I know. These red cards are something that you can raise only one time during a portion of the forum to receive an additional 2 minutes of speaking time. And that is to say, one of the candidates is talking about something that is near and dear to your heart, and you are just dying to wade in. You say, I've got to wade in right here. And because it's not a debate, you hold that card up, and after that candidate speaks, and we've at least exhausted, the order of that side, we'll give you 2 minutes. But again, you can only use it one time, and that's important. So you guys will have to keep up with that. If you don't, I promise I will. So if you use your time, we're not going to let you use it again. But that is an opportunity for you to wade in on something you feel strongly about, so keep that ready, and remember that you can do that. Now, since this is not a debate, the candidates are asked to address their answers either to me, your moderator, or to the audience, but never to another candidate. This is not even a battle of ideas. This is where you have an opportunity to state your case to these people, all respected voters. And these folks are going to go out into the community and talk about what they hear today. So please either address your answers to me or look out there at the audience. And this should be on cable here in Hendersonville, so that the people who are not able to be with us today will have a chance to see that on the Government Relations Channel, Channel 3. I know I'm not the only person who watches that. And so it's important that you remember that you're not only speaking with people here, but the television audience. And Fox 17 has a camera here. Ian Bailey, one of my colleagues, is going to take some pictures, and we're going to have a little bit of this on the news tonight to remind everybody that this is coming up and who each of you are. So watch us tonight. Now, throughout this forum, the candidates are going to be alerted when there's 30 seconds left. We're not trying to cut anybody off, but we're going to have to keep it moving and keep you to the 2 minutes, and be sensitive to that. Will you raise that card? When you see that card, gentlemen, you'll know you've got 30 seconds to start wrapping up. And I know 30 seconds doesn't sound like much, but in the television business, I can't tell you how much work we can get done in 30 seconds. Everything's by the stopwatch, so you'll get used to that. We're going to begin the forum now by asking for opening statements from each of these candidates, and we're going to start the candidate closest to me and then continuing in order. So Steve Brown, why don't you take the first bite at the apple since you're right here on my left.
Don't count this as time. Can you all hear Trying to adjust how close we get or how far away. Cannot hear. Can you hear now? Okay. Guys, closer. The first thing I want to tell you, and most of you heard this, is that my three opponents and myself put our differences aside about a week and a half ago and played golf as a foursome for the Hendersonville Samaritan Association, and really had a great time. We did a lot of laughing, was able to relax a little bit, probably more relaxed than we've actually done in the past 2 or 3 months, and we were together. The interesting thing that happened after that is we were eating lunch, and most of you know this by now, that I choked on a tomato, and I did not eat tomatoes today when I came, and got, my wind was absolutely blocked. Scott got up and said, "Are you okay?" And I'm not okay, I can't breathe. So the mayor got up and started pounding me on the back. I think he took a couple extra hard shots. Trying to get rid of that tomato. I didn't know what it was at that time. Tommy got up and was trying to give me the Heimlich maneuver, which I think he did, I'm not sure. At that time I'm panicking, and you can ask these gentlemen, my face is turning blue. I was choking to death. And thank you, Brenda. So I'm very grateful to them. I probably wouldn't be here today if they'd done that. I haven't done that for me, because I was choking. Now, on the other hand, Mr. Forsyth was there also. And Gary was trying to give me water to drink. I'm not exactly sure what that means, other than he was trying to make me debate the threesome instead of Forsyth. I'm Steve Brown. I've been in this city for about 22 years. I've been married to Jolene Brown for 41 years. I have 2 adult children that live here and 2 grandchildren. I've served you as an alderman for 8 years, as vice mayor a couple of years. I've worked on the Parks Board. I consider it an honor to run for mayor in the city. I consider it an honor to serve this city and live here. Hopefully after today you'll see a little bit differences in some of the 4 of us, and be able to make up your mind who you want to lead this city over the next 4 years. So again, I want to thank the Chamber for putting on the forum and just the opportunity to be here today. Thanks much.
Steve, thank you. Let's hear now from Tommy Elston.
Thanks, Scott. Steve, thank you for leaving the tomatoes along today. First thing, I'd like to thank the Chamber for putting on this event today and giving us the chance to speak to you and you the chance to determine the differences between the 4 of us. I'm Tommy Elston. It's been an honor to be an alderman for the last 8 years. I'm married to my wife, Tanya, who's with us here today. We've raised three sons here in Hendersonville. I also serve on the Planning Commission. I serve as on the Capital Projects Committee. I have been on the Golf Course Commission and the Town Center Revitalization Committee. I own Elston Security Services here in town, and we've been members of Bluegrass Baptist Church for 22 years. Hendersonville has been a great place to raise a family, but I think it can be even better. I'm running for mayor because I believe that I'm one who can build a team that can get us there. We have many attractive things to offer that we've not taken advantage of, such as our shoreline. You know, I've been here and seen this city grow from a population of about 14,000 in 1975 to over 50,000 today. And some areas have improved while others have gone ignored for the last 8 years. And I think I would like to end this trend and move our city forward. Thank you.
Tommy, thank you. Ms. Forsyth, you were next with your opening statements.
Thank you. I'm Gary Forsyth. I am currently the vice mayor. I am an alderman in Ward 1. I've represented Ward 1 for 8 years. I'm also chairman of the finance committee for the city, and I've been that chairman for 8 years. This election, I think, it comes in 35 days. It's an important event for our city. I think the election is all about who can lead the city in terms of leadership, experience, and financial management. It's just that simply put, those skills are necessary. Let me share with you some things that are important to me. My family's important to me. My wife, Brenda, raise your hand. She just snuck in. We've been married 42 years. She's the luckiest woman in the world. The other side of that is I think I'm the luckiest man in the world. We've been married for 42 years. We have 2 children, Chris and Carissa. We have 6 wonderful grandchildren, and they're wonderful most of the time, all the time. Our faith is important to us. We go to Hendersonville Church of Christ, been there for a long time. I've been chairman of the finance committee there, been a deacon there, been chairman of the building committee, chairman of the youth committee, and some other roles. Service to our community is important. I've been involved in a number of civic clubs over the years. I was president of Madison Chamber. I was president of Madison Kiwanis Club. I was been chairman of the Better Business Bureau of Middle Tennessee. Involved in other civic activities as well as service to our country. I'm a war veteran. People used to never say the word Vietnam, but I'll say it. I was in the Army for a few years. You learn a few things about experience you don't get any other way in life. You appreciate life, you appreciate your health, you appreciate discipline, you appreciate making hard decisions and all that goes with that. My business career, I was at SunTrust Bank for 30 years. I was senior vice president, spent most of the time in commercial lending. I was president of Credit Bureau Nashville for 6 years. I've been president of CIC Foundation. You all heard of Memorial Foundation. CIC Foundation is a very similar organization, but much smaller. In addition to that corporate exposure that I've had over those years, I've also owned 3 small businesses. I know what it is to make sales, I know what it is to collect money, and I know what it is to make the payroll. So thank you for having the event today, and I appreciate it, Scott.
Gary, thank you. Scott Foster.
Good morning, Hendersonville. Good morning. Let me tell you a little bit about Hendersonville. Hendersonville is a strong and growing, vibrant community. And I've had the pleasure for the last 8 years of serving as your leader. We've got a great team at City Hall. The 3 gentlemen sitting here beside me have all served on the board for that length of time, 8 years. So credit to all of them. Let me tell you, it's been an exciting 8 years. Our first 4 years is full of vibrancy and growth. The last 4 years have been a little bit different. The greatest recession in most of our lives. The tornadoes of 2006, the flood of 2010. I guess the locusts are coming next. But this community pulled together, and no matter what anybody says, as a community, we pulled through all those events. It doesn't seem like 2010 was just 2 years ago. But we're out and about and growing and vibrant. Very exciting. I want to tell you a little bit about me. I've been fortunate to be your leader for 8 years. I grew up here, started G. Brown Elementary, went to Beach High School, went to Tennessee Tech to get a bachelor's in civil engineering, went to UT Space Institute to get a rocket science degree. Not really. A degree in engineering management. I've got a master's degree in engineering management. This is a $35 million corporation with 300 employees. This is a big deal. We're the 10th largest city in the state, getting national accolades that I'll close with. But it's an exciting time. I've got 2 boys in the school system. Blaze Maloson's at Hawkins Middle School, Cody Maloson's at Hendersonville High School. And schools are important to me. Now, we've got a great future ahead of us. We're really ready to blow out the blocks. We've had more people look at Hendersonville in the last 3 months than we've had look in the last 4 years. So it's an exciting time. I look forward to moving forward and being a part of your city and our city. Thank you very much.
Scott, thank you. You know, in the news business, we say all the time in the newsroom, you guys aren't supposed to hear this. Come on now, this is not rocket science. Well, apparently sometimes it is. Rocket science, intimidated right out of the box. Our first questions are going to deal with economic and community development. You guys know, because you're in business, the lifeblood of any community in terms of a tax base is the business community. We as a government can't function without you. My neighborhood could double in size, and we consume as many or more resources than we generate. So corporate citizens like the ones who are represented here are important. Attracting more of them here, Sumner County and specifically to Hendersonville, is what will keep the beverage moving about and fresh for everybody. So the questions that we're going to deal with first will deal with that. Mr. Brown, you get the first bite at the apple. What role should city government play in creating a suitable environment for business owners and job creation? 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Couch. Thank you. I believe city government is not a job creator. I believe that city government creates atmospheres for businesses to be here, either small or large. I think that has to be a low tax atmosphere, one that is aesthetically good throughout all areas of town. That would be Indian Lake, Gallatin Road, anywhere that you might go and have a business. I think part of that is community working together, business community. I would like to see some settings where business folks can come together, sit down in all areas of town, and talk about your needs, your wants, and the things that you feel is important. And I know we do some of that, but I don't think we do it to the extent that government can really help you there. I think that working together cooperatively with the Chamber of Commerce, Forward Summer, the other local agencies, our state representatives, and those folks in Nashville are very important to have good relationships there in order to groom businesses to come here. But I go back and I want to talk about aesthetics just a bit more, especially on the Gallatin Road corridor. I may not have another chance to during this but I think we have over 200 empty storefronts in this city, in Glenbrook, Gallatin Road area, in the Indian Lake area. And I think it's very important that we look and try to find ways to fill those particular storefronts and office buildings up and down. I took a picture that I think would be important for some of you to see if you'd like, in front of Aldi's yesterday, of a guardrail that's been laying on the side of a bank up there behind what used to be Coco's for not weeks, not months, but years. And that's a piece of aesthetics that we as a city could fix and make look better. Behind that, you will see a sign that says Visions for Lease. They're trying to rent those building places, those office fronts down there. I think as a city, we can work to do things like that. It doesn't cost us a lot of money.
Steve, your time is up.
Thank you.
Sorry to cut you off. Tommy, you have the next, actually the same question, but the next in order. I'll restate the question for you. You guys will be sensitive to time. I don't want to interrupt you. What role should city government play in creating a suitable environment for business owners' job creation?
Thanks, Scott. I believe the city should do everything possible to make it easier on small businesses to grow and thrive. Possibly revisit the sign ordinance to make some parts of the sign ordinance I don't believe are very business friendly. We've had a couple of businesses here in town that we've been dealing with this on for the last few weeks, parking their company vehicles out in front of their business. I believe we need to streamline the process that a small business has to go through when they come to City Hall. They should not have to go to 4 different departments to accomplish what they need to accomplish to open a small business, whether it's a new business coming in or an existing business that moves. You know, you get your sign permit from one place, you get your business license from another. I think those processes need to be streamlined and make it a little bit easier. I do think we need to come up with some plans to revitalize West Main Street. For years we've heard about how bad West Main Street looks, but we haven't seen any plans come forward to work on revitalizing West Main Street. I believe we probably need to put together a committee of property owners and business owners from West Main Street and let the business owners come up with some plans for that revitalization. And maybe we put some tax abatement, implement some tax abatement initiatives to help revitalize that part of town. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect timing. Your time is about to be up. The good thing for you is that you get the first bite at the apple of the next question, just so you guys understand. Each of the candidates will have an opportunity to answer 5 or 6 questions. So if it seems like, why aren't they over here? We will be over here. Once we get over here, we'll stay over here for a little while. Next question is, and again, Mr. Elston, you get the opportunity to ask this first. What is your vision of Hendersonville and its growth over the next 10 years, and what policies do you suggest to accomplish your vision? Each candidate gets to answer 2 questions, but every candidate does not get to answer. Remember your red card. You feel strongly about it, you want to do that, you raise that red card, and we will allow you 2 minutes. All right. I'll restate that question again. What is your vision of Hendersonville and its growth over the next 10 years, and what policies do you suggest to accomplish your vision? Mr. Elston.
Thanks, Scott. My vision for our city over the next 10 years would be one for residences mainly. We need to put some plans in place to address drainage issues, paving issues, street lighting issues, to where our residents aren't up at City Hall every time the doors are open and citizens' comments letting us know we're not doing a good job. On the business side, I think we need to get the town center plan down off the bookshelf and dust it off, and look at implementing some plans to start revitalizing that older part of Hendersonville. I would also like to see our waterfront become something that makes Hendersonville a destination location. You know, right now we're not utilizing our commercial waterfront at all. I would like to see Indian Lake, maybe we have some office buildings on the bypass and bring in some higher paying white collar jobs. There are some local business folks that have connections in California, I know, and we've talked with them a little bit lately about their corporate headquarters possibly coming here. But we really don't have any place to put them because we don't have any commercial spaces that are big enough. We need to put some plans in place to get some bigger commercial office space built and implement these other infrastructure, implement these plans to address infrastructure issues and aggressively market our city in other states, California. From what I hear, businesses are trying their best to get out of California.
Your time is up, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Your time is up. Mr. Forsythe, you have the next opportunity to answer this question. What's your vision of Hendersonville and its growth over the next 10 years? Where do you see it going, and what policies do you suggest to accomplish your vision? Mike.
Over the next 10 years, there's already a pipeline out there that's been established. Let me walk through that with you a little bit. I served on the Planning Commission for 4 years. We got about between 6,000 and 6,500 homes that's already approved. There is subdivisions that's already approved. They're not built yet. The economy turned in 08, as we all know, that slowed down. The unfortunate thing about that, some of those subdivisions also have infrastructure improvements that were attached to them. Drake Street Road, for example, Blackton, a number of areas that there is some infrastructure improvements with that growth when it finally occurs. Doesn't look like the economy is going to improve anytime in the near future, different than what we have right now. Look out 18, 24 months, looks about the same as that now. But again, there's a tremendous amount of residential homes already on the books that have been approved. I'm not sure we need to go looking for any developers to come in and do that. I think we'll continue on as we move forward to get those built, following our codes, following our subdivision regulations, making sure that they turn out as nice as what they were when they were approved on the books. Commercial properties, I think we got like over 3 million square foot of office space that's been approved that's not yet built. Yes, we need to do a better job, maybe a different job on our economic development mission to recruit more businesses in, more businesses come in, better paying jobs, more jobs, and it increases not only our property tax base, but it also helps our sales tax base. So we need to do that. Apartment complexes. We had about a 10-year period of time when there weren't any apartment complexes built in Hendersonville. As you know, most recently we've had 3 or 4 large ones built in the last 3 years. I think we have enough of those that void has been built for the time being. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect timing. Gary, you absolutely get the first opportunity in this next question as part of the format, and it's timely. I mentioned I watch you guys on the Government Access channel late in the evenings just to keep up. I know in the last 12 months, annexation has been part of the dynamic you all discussed. So the question is, what is your position on annexation?
Thank you. Hope that's better. Again, I served on the Planning Commission for 4 years, and we had opportunities there and at the Board of Mayoral level to consider annexation. I voted for annexation on occasion, and I certainly have voted against it on occasion. We have infrastructure problems in our city. There's no question about it. I'm sure that is a topic or a question will come up. But basically, we have a very small budget when it comes to paving roads, when it comes to our drainage funds that we can spend. I'm not sure we need to go out, well, no, we don't, my position, but we simply do not need to go out and annex any property into the city until we have adequately repaired, fixed every road we have, made every effort and attempt to solve every drainage problem that we have. One of the reasons we annex things in, and everybody seems to be on board and want to vote that in and approve it, is you've got a developer who wants to bring his subdivision into the city as he builds it. It's a huge sales tool for him. I think some of that, yes, will probably occur. Not even sure I'm in favor of that, but annexation is something that's always a traumatic event. Everybody has a reason why they don't want to pay the city, and everybody has a reason why they don't want to pay city taxes. I've seen people cry at the podium. I've seen citizens come forward, and because they're losing a trash man they've had for 40 years, they're upset. Annexation is always a difficult issue, but I think we have so many infrastructure problems, we don't need to begin doing any of that at this point in time, nor in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Scott Foster, the same question to you. What is your position on annexation?
Well, Gary stated very well. Annexation is a very complicated process. We try to get on the front end of that process. If you're a developer, you're going to build 300 homes and bring them into the city of Hendersonville, we need you to bring it into the city of Hendersonville. One thing that happens is we can make sure the subdivision is built per our city standards, which are much higher than the county standards. Our engineers can review the work on the ground. We can review the pavement, the sidewalks going in. We don't need to pick it up from the back end where people don't have street lights, people don't have sidewalks. We've got 30 years of that, people that don't have sidewalks, don't have street lights. So if we get it on the front end and annex as they develop, that's much more powerful. From a ongoing perspective, though, there are pockets that were created today, including the Chenault Farm, that is now part of the city, that was a donut in the middle of the city. And I can tell you that Neil Chenault talked to us about the first time his house caught on fire, and he had to wait for the volunteer fire department to get there. It's of utmost importance that you understand, particularly our public safety services are top-notch, best in the state, both police and fire. If you've got to wait for somebody to leave their job at DuPont, get to their truck, go to the fire hall, and bring the truck to you, that's not a good plan. If you built a $400,000 house out on Grace Creek Road, you want us. It's going to affect your insurance. Annexation as a whole, it's complicated. We've not gone out and done a lot of annexation. We did try to cite a corporate headquarters for Volkswagen here in town. That project was voted down, and voted down by the people that live outside the city, primarily. So annexation is a tough question. We have to grow as we grow. Thank you.
Scott Foster, you have the first opportunity at this question. It's sort of a two-part question. I think we're about to hopefully not be holding our ears. Do you support the concept of tax incentive funding similar to the recent project on Saundersville Road? And what other creative funding mechanisms would you consider to stimulate economic growth?
Well, I did support the economic incentive for Saundersville Road. We built a $18 million road that's paying for itself on an annual basis, making a payment every time. Because of that development of Saundersville Road, we have created 3,000 new jobs in the Indian Lake area. Now, that's not the only area we look at. I want you to think back to when I took office in 2004. We had a Target and a Kroger at Glenbrook. We spent a lot of effort developing that area of town. You're beginning to see the food line across the street from the Hendersonville Hospital develop without economic incentives. The folks that developed Hundred Oaks Mall are developing the Glenbrook Shopping Center right now. Economic incentives aren't necessary for everything. It just so happens in the case of Saundersville Road, that was an economic incentive that I think you wanted. Why build development when the roads aren't built? This is the first time we used the economic incentive to build a 4-lane divided highway through 600 acres before the development was built. Now, all we did, no tax abatement, no tax incentives. All we did is we agreed with the county that the tax incentives, any taxes that came off that would go to pay for the road first. That project is probably going to pay off in a 10-year time frame, and some lucky mayor, 7 years from now, is going to get over $2.5 million of new tax money into their coffers. But that also makes our school system better. We have increased the sales tax revenue. We've doubled our sales tax revenue since 2004. Doubled it. 50 cents of every dollar that you spend in Hendersonville, not in Rivergate, not in Green Hills, but that you spend in Hendersonville makes our school systems better, not national school systems. So economic incentives are appropriate at times, but we're not giving the house away. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brown, you get the opportunity to answer this question as well. Do you support the concept of tax incentive funding similar to the recent project on Saundersville Road that Scott Foster was just talking about? And what other creative funding mechanisms would you consider to stimulate economic growth here?
Thank you, Scott. I did support that. I voted for that at that time, and I have to agree with Mayor Foster. I believe that it has been very good for our community to have that road through there. It's been good to get to our library. It's been good to build a mall. It's been good to do a lot of other things up there. At this time, I don't see where tax incentives like that would fit our community. I don't see where the need is there. But I did support it then, and can't say that I wouldn't look at it in the future if the opportunity arose. What I would say that I would like to see done is I would like to look at what we can do for older businesses, those property owners and landlords that have a part of those 200 open spaces that I talked about a while ago in our city, bringing those folks and entrepreneurs maybe together to work on a tax incentive or something for the property owner and the landlord that would turn around and give the entrepreneur who wants to open a small business in our city a break on their rent. I think cooperatively working together in the city, leading that, and bringing those people to the table, I think is a good piece and possibly would work very well. But we have to do something to address that issue. Thank you.
Got the raised red card, and Gary Forsythe would like to address that. Sir, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I would like to address that. As chairman of the Finance Committee, I worked heavily on the TIP project that we had that was financed the Inland Boulevard area, the Saundersville Road area. That was had originally a 400-acre tract of land that was an agricultural tax rate. It now has, and it now has been improved and has something like $200 million in value of retail and commercial property, and it's taxed as that basis versus the agricultural property that it originally was. There's an opportunity here, with no commitment or promise, there's an opportunity here to do a couple of things. The Industrial Loan and Thrift Act, that is part of Tennessee state law, that act allowed us to pass the tax increment financing on Indian Lake Boulevard. It may be the first and last time that we ever use that, but there may be an opportunity on the West Main corridor to put some of that property together. There's vacant property down there, and there's property that needs to be rehabbed and renovated. There are provisions of that same act to finance and defer taxes to debt payment as opposed to the city coffers to fund those projects with. Others have mentioned we've got 26.5 acres of lake frontage that is basically had very low or non-existing commercial businesses on it. If a large tract, several acres, a dozen acres, whatever, and a developer were to put a hotel, restaurant, other businesses down there, that law provides for areas that are designated for growth. We had to create an economic growth area in the Indian Lake area to fund that with that mechanism. We could do the same thing around our lake or at West Main. There's other opportunities there. Thank you.
Gary, thank you. If you will, pass me your red cards. Thank you, sir. Oh, I'll take care of it. By the way, have the first opportunity at the next question. This is the last question that will deal with economic development. This is going to Mr. Brown. How does the mayor and board of aldermen build consensus for the long-term direction of the city?
Let me say this. I think in order to do that, and it's not just necessarily about a long-term consensus on growth or anything, I think there has to be very good communication between the mayor's office and the alderman. Not breaking the sunshine law in any way, but I think there has to be conversations. This may be bringing the sore subject up, but I'll bring it up, and I'm not afraid to. There was a vote taken not too long ago, and it split 6-6 about straightening Walton Ferry out. We've all wanted that done for years. One reason that vote was a 6-6 split is because some of us felt that we did not have the information that we needed from the mayor's office. Once that information was gotten and given to us, you'll notice that vote was a 13 vote unanimous to do that. So I think communication as the mayor, the alderman, and the alderman back to the mayor, and along with the department heads, is very important of building a consensus of where we go in the future in growth, in supporting our schools through growth, in supporting our infrastructure needs that we have, and staying on the same track and not spending days and hours at meetings arguing. I don't think we've ever fought. We've got pretty contentious once in a while, but that's the reason we're in a democracy, so we can do that occasionally. Everybody has an opinion. But I think communication is probably absolutely one of the biggest things that we can do.
Mr. Brown, thank you. Mr. Elston, you have the first opportunity at a new set of questions dealing with mass transit. And the question is, what's your vision of mass transit as it relates to Hendersonville?
Mass transit is one of those things that seems to rear its head, it seems like every time an election comes up. I don't believe we can afford to look too hard at it. I don't think the state can afford to look at it. If we put together a plan to bring jobs to Hendersonville and cut down on the traffic that has to go to Nashville every day, then we don't need mass transit. People can work, live, and play right here in town. Thank you.
Thank you. Another mass transit question. And tell me you get the chance to answer this one as well, as the rotation is going. With Gallatin Road and the 386 bypass at capacity during rush hour, and every person in this room knows what we're talking about, what are your ideas to improve access, relieve congestion? I'll hit it again. I think my microphone was off, and that'll do it every time.
Another second person answering the last question, Scott.
I'm going to have another one of the candidates answer that first question as well, but you're the next in the rotation to get a new question. With Gallatin Road and the 386 bypass at capacity during rush hour, what are your ideas to improve access and relieve congestion?
I think we do have issues with traffic in town that we didn't have 10 years ago, and a lot of it's because of growth. The timing of the street lights down Gallatin Road will have a major effect on that and get cars off of Gallatin Road quicker. I believe exit ramps off 4th Street Road and possibly Stop 30 Road to give us more places to get off of Vietnam veterans and get cars home quicker when they're on their way home from work. And again, if the more business we can bring to town, and the more people that don't have to drive to Nashville every day, the more we can reduce the traffic that's on 386 in Gallatin Road.
Thank you. Mr. Forsythe, you've got a mass transit question as well. What's your vision of mass transit as it relates to Hendersonville?
Well, there's a number of things that our planning department, our mayor, and our city have done already. There's a number of organizations working on that. The Regional Transportation Authority, Metropolitan Transportation Authority. We basically three-tiered plan. Some of it's already active now. There are there's an express bus service already in place. There are 2 buses going to town each morning from Galton through Hendersonville and Douglasville. Each morning there are 2, each afternoon there are 2. The other part, the next step of that plan is to increase it to a rapid bus service, where there'd be a center lane down I-65, a center lane down the bypass, rapid transit bus service, numerous buses going daily for a number of times. Third leg of that would be, who knows when, but at least 10 to 20 years away would be a rapid rail system. That would have to be done with Fed funds. As everybody knows, the federal government's money is pretty well tied up right now. State funds are tied up. The main thing that comes with any mass transit program is you got to have a recurring, dedicated source of income to pay for that. Wheel tax, increased sales tax, increased property tax. There's got to be some recurring, dedicated source of income that's going to pay for that long-term debt. It's a matter of choices. Computer problems are always, nobody wants to be stuck in that trap. Computer problems are always a problem. But I think as we develop through those 3-tiered stages, we ought to put it to voters on the ballots as to what they want to vote for and what they would support. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Public safety question for you. You get to answer this one along with one of the other candidates. What's the largest issue facing public safety in Hendersonville, Mr. Forsyth?
Back to that. Okay. Well, I'd say public safety is one of our better issues in Hendersonville, Tennessee. I think the mayor mentioned we have an excellent fire department. We have 105 firemen. We have an excellent police department. We have a challenge with a new fire hall maybe being needed in imminent future, not 2 to 5 years. Excellent services provided by our fire department. They respond to everything. We all see them out there now. Our police department, we had a home run a couple of years ago. We recruited and hired our chief, Victor Miller. I can say that because not only is he a friend of mine, but he's an excellent police chief doing a great job. When he came down, he focused on some of our major crimes, armed robbery, vehicle burglaries, and home invasion. The trend is not only good, it's great. And he's been here almost 2 years. And then in 2011, our crime rate was reduced 17% of those crimes right off the bat. Thus far, during 2012, we're down an additional 12 to 14%. So that public safety is a bright spot in our city services at this point in time. It is the most critical service the city provides. It's 2/3 of our budget. It's 2/3 of our salary dollars. It's critically important that we keep our police department and fire department strong, give them the assets to work with, and whatever it takes, work with the budget each year to get that done.
Thank you. Scott Foster, same question. What's the largest issue in your mind facing public safety in Hendersonville?
Well, I think no question the obvious issue is money. Both my chiefs could use all of it they could get. We probably got the highest number of fire halls per population in the state. We've got 6 fire halls. We've built 2 since I've been on board. We've got 1 more to build. Certainly in the imminent future, as Gary mentioned, on Center Point Road to protect those folks. Our fire department has really moved through the grant process. You'll see a new $300,000 boat coming on board here in the next couple of months. We just bought a new apparatus, a platform truck, went to Winston Hills Fire Hall. We've also won 2 other fire trucks in grant applications. So our fire department's doing a great job. I'm not going to brag too much on Mickey, his head will get big, but the crime is down in Hendersonville. We talk about it a lot more. We're talking about it a lot more because we only have 100 policemen. If we engage you, the community, we put 100,000 new eyes on crime. And so you're hearing it reported. But crime is down. Crime is down, as Gary mentioned, well over 12% this year and down last year. So that's good news. There are some things that we need to do. They'll tell you we're behind on police cars. You know, when you got 100 police cars, you don't replace 10 every year. You got some old police cars. And we have to get back on track in putting them in the right equipment, both fire and police. Wonderful, wonderful, safe city. You should feel safe every day. I'd like to thank Mick for all he's done, and Chief Steele, both of them godly men, a significant part of our team. Thank you.
As a chief executive, you've got to have vision. You've got to look down the road. What is your vision for a 5-year plan for public safety, including both police and fire and EMS, and what improvements would you suggest?
Well, certainly as the economy begins to pick up, we're up $200,000 in tax dollars this year already. Now that's phenomenal. But as we move forward, we are looking to, we have a long-range plan. We have a long-range plan, again, to put a fire hall over in front of Massacre Farms. That developer was not necessarily extorted, but his arm was twisted for a piece of property for a fire hall. We look forward to putting that in place in the next 5 years. We do have to ramp up both our computer systems in fire and police. Both are antiquated. They're not German technology, but they're very antiquated. And our fire and police department will get more efficient and much better at the things they do as we begin to do things like put new laptops in the cars. So when they stop you, they don't have to call back to dispatch and say, is this person a murderer, a felon, what is he? They can type it in their computer in their car, get the results quickly, get the ticket done, whatever it is. Those are the types of things that both fire and police are moving forward on. We also are going to do, both are well trained, but we're talking about maybe a facility where we can do a little training on fire and police on some of our local property, some of our governmental property. But past that, the long-range vision is to carry out the plans that we have in place. Thanks.
Thank you. And Steve Brown, you are going to be asked to answer the same question. Looking down the road, 5-year plan for public safety, fire, police, EMS, what improvements do you suggest?
Thank you, Mr. Couch. First of all, I want to compliment our police department and fire department. They do a great job. We have 2 great chiefs. We have great employees there. I think you can feel very safe in our community. This mic doesn't sound like it is on at all. It doesn't sound like it's on out there. Get as close and as loud as I can get. I really think the largest safety issue, I think there's 2 that as a mayor and public safety committee we need to look at in the next 2 or 3 years to work into a 5-year plan. Drake Street Park is a wonderful park. It's full of people most of the time. If you're back in the back and you're playing soccer, sometimes it takes 30 to 45 minutes to get out. I don't have kids at that age, but I have been over there before during that period of time. I know there's a lot of parents that are worried about what if something would happen in the back of that park. To me, that's a strong safety issue, and I know both of our chiefs have plans to get in there and rescue someone if that needs to happen. But it may mean crossing fields and doing some other things. And I don't mean to raise an alarm here where, oh my goodness, but I think it's a safety issue that we have to address. When we have thousands of people in our parks, we only have 1 ingress and 1 egress out of that park, then we're going to need to do something about that to protect and keep those folks safe. I think another issue that is not totally dead in this city, that I know there's several aldermen are still interested in that, and several people in the community, and that would be to research back again about having tornado sirens somewhere in this city. I honestly don't know if it's the right thing to do or not, but I know there's still interest in that. So I'd like to do some research on that in communities that are our size, come back to the table and have another discussion about it. I think those 2 things are safety issues that we need to look over and above what we're already doing in our police and fire, which are doing a 9+ job now. Thank you.
Steve, thank you. You have the first opportunity of the next question, and it deals with, I guess, parts of the lake. Hendersonville is known as a city by the lake. What is your vision of leveraging that asset that we have, Old Hickory Lake?
Okay. Very good question. I know we talk about that all the time in this city. I'm very proud to live by the lake. Used to own a boat, don't own a boat now, but still get an occasional boat ride. But I do think as a city that we don't leverage that lake the way we should. I would like to go back to a book called Hendersonville Tomorrow. And I don't know where the mayor has it stuck in his office, but I'd like to get it out and dust it off and bring pieces of that back. And in Hendersonville Tomorrow, some of you people worked on that committee. It took 18 months to do that study. There's a very intricate plan in there to look at what to do around the lake, possibly along the Sanders Ferry Road, of how we can enhance lake life. Little shops, sea-doo rentals, different things like that. I think if we can look at revitalizing some of those things around our lake, getting more usage out of our lakes. People will come to Old Hickory Lake that doesn't necessarily live here in town, spend money in our restaurants, and spend time here. And anytime they spend time here, it's good for our community. So I would like to bring that back out and take a look at some of those pieces of Hendersonville tomorrow and the town center that Mr. Elston mentioned a while ago, to see what we can do, the plans we already have on the books to enhance life around the lake. Thank you.
Steve, thank you. Mr. Elston, you have the opportunity to answer the same question. City by the lake, what's your vision for leveraging that asset?
I agree with Mr. Brown. We are moving forward with some plans. We've got some grant money and the board approved the greenway from Friendship Gazebo right there next to Gallatin Road to build a bridge across to behind Mallard's Restaurant, and then the greenway will go down that bank of Drakes Creek. I would like to see us look at, and that may be the location where the next TIF would come into play. If we built a greenway to the boardwalk and then had a boardwalk down Saunders Ferry Road to Imperial with restaurants and jet ski rentals and some retail, where the people that do live on the lake and have boats have one place they can go and they can enjoy 5 or 6 different restaurants, have several different venues to enjoy there, as well as the restaurants and other things that we have on our lake already. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Elston, you get the first opportunity. All right. You have 2 minutes. Scott calls you to weigh in on this thing as you let pass that one over. Thank you, Gary.
Let's talk for a minute about a couple opportunities that have come up. We've talked about the West Main Street group, getting a group of business owners together. That actually happened. It happened last week at the library. West Main Street, for the first time since the history of Hendersonville, has sewer available on West Main Street. The Chamber is driving a project right now to look at how we can get that group of business owners together to make West Main Street available, better, to get more and higher use out of those properties. That's the first time in 40 plus years that group has come together. Same way with Town Center. We went through an arduous process looking at how to take the best advantage of the lake. You know, picture in your mind a Savannah, Georgia style boardwalk that runs down the lake with small shops, hamburger shops, ice cream shops on the bottom level, face the lake. On the top level, retail, office that faces Saunders Ferry Road, and maybe even the top 2 floors be residential use. That would be phenomenal. Unfortunately, we talked about it for 3 years, and then we tried to go buy property from, rightly so, the property owners along the lake, and we drove the property price up by 300%. I'd love to be an investor as a city, to go in and take those pieces of property down, be able to invest, give the owners the proper due, and us develop a gorgeous Savannah-style boardwalk. Until 6 members of my board agree with me that we're going to invest, we're going to be landlords, we're going to be developers and go down there and do that, it's not likely. Mallard's Restaurant's open right now. I would love to take Mallard's and make it a showpiece. Whatever it is, at Calhoun's with a big wraparound deck, a centerpiece of Town Center. With the gentleman that owns the property, owns it outright, and collects rent, not right now, but collects rent. We have to take the property owner's rights into consideration. So if you're for it, help me get 6 votes. Let's move forward with the project along.
Perfect timing, thank you. Now, back to Mr. Elston. I'll remind you gentlemen that you have red cards. And Tommy's still got his. Anybody else still got theirs? I've got 2 of them over here. There ought to be 1 out. I'm just reminding you, you got those. We want to raise that as an issue. Next question deals with the greenways as well. Hendersonville is blessed with many fine parks and is developing some greenways. What is your vision for parks and greenways moving forward? Yes, Tommy, that was your right. Chance to answer that first.
I think one of the biggest issues facing our parks is the traffic at Drakes Creek Park. Seems like every Saturday when there's baseball and soccer, we get 20, 30 phone calls saying it takes our residents longer to get out of the park than they spent time there practicing. We need to address those issues. We've got some other parkland that maybe we need to look at splitting Drake Creek and moving some of our park functions to other parks and developing some new parks. I think the greenways, you know, I've had the chance on several occasions to go walk our greenways. I would like to see more connectivity on our greenways. Of course, we're working on that. You know, our greenways, our parks are so spread out that our greenways, it can take us quite some time to get our greenways connected, to connect all our parks together with a lot of our neighborhoods. But I do believe the traffic in Drake Creek Park is probably the main concern of most of our residents that needs to be addressed.
Thank you. Candidates are doing great on time management, which allows us to get to more questions. Hopefully it'll be something that will interest you. Mr. Forsythe, you have an opportunity to answer the same question. Many fine parks in this city, some greenways. What's your vision for parks and greenways headed into the future?
Thank you. If you go to our website, there is the city's website. There is a listing of the greenways and also the mileage distance of those greenways. We have about 7 miles of greenways now. That's going to increase pretty soon. For the next 18 months, from Saundersville Road, Galveston Road down Saunders Ferry Road to Creekwood Marina. There's part of the greenway is going to be a new boardwalk and a meandering sidewalk down to there. Also, the city's received a sidewalk grant that's going to connect down Walton Ferry Road up to the middle school there. It's about a mile and a quarter. You get a mile and a quarter. Both of those roads are going to be 18 to 24 months away coming about. Every time we do a subdivision, every time there's a plan presented, we always are, the planning commission, who has done a good job, and the board, and mayor and all needs to continue to do a good job of incorporating greenways and parks anywhere and everywhere we possibly can, as well as very minimum of green spaces within the developments and anything we can negotiate further that we need to do. I think we've all been blitzed by the traffic issues in Drake Creek Park. Looks like to me the resolution, and I am not the engineer of the crowd, it's to my right, but if you go down to Moss Wright Park, you go in there, you literally go in the park, you go one way all around that park. You're going to see everything before you come back out on the other end. That probably is the answer to the traffic congestion getting in that park. It is taking 30 to 45 minutes to get in that park. It needs to be fixed. Just moving activities around, put soccer games in one field, baseball at another location. You get kids split up, and then parents have 2 trips to make back and forth. So seemingly the answer to that question is sometimes we reroute our roads and make one great road in that park. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Forsythe. You have an opportunity to be the first person as we move into a new area, citywide redevelopment infrastructure, which we discussed. What can be done to facilitate reinvestment and redevelopment of outdated commercial areas in the city?
Anytime we talk about reinvestment, I guess we all go strictly to the West Main corridor down the west end of town. I think we've all, as city officials, gotten a lot of flack over the money that was the American Recovery Act that provided $1 million that was spent coming into town on the western side. I think that was a real enhancement. Is it perfect? No. Is there enough space to work with? No. But it's a tremendous enhancement to that end of town. There's still a lot of vacant property down there. The vacant property coupled with merchants who would want to rehab or rebuild, again, I think would be getting those folks together to take advantage of our state laws that provide for the economic growth areas to be designated where we can then issue bonds and have those tax dollars to repay the bonds. That in essence, another TIF project. In the meantime, I think the city needs to, and that's not going to happen, but in the meantime, the effort to work with those merchants to make renovations, color schemes, building materials, all those kind of things that are aesthetically, like everyone improve that corridor as well as anywhere in town where we can generate business, create more jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott Foster, same question. What can be done to facilitate reinvestment and redevelopment of the outdated commercial areas in the city?
Well, Scott, it's already happened. Open your eyes up and think back. We had an old GMAC dealership, a landscaping place, all at Center Point Road. We got a new car dealership behind it. Matco in the Box, built to be one of the top operating Matcos just across the street. People that come to town and look at Indian Lake or at Glenbrook find the dollars high, and they're moving to Main Street. We're starting to see the redevelopment. Think about the tear down of the Taco Bell rebuild, the tear down of McDonald's in the rebuild, the refacing of Arby's on Main Street. We moved the building that sits beside the library is a call center. It's called Wendell. They moved out of a facility that was over in the old part of town. We have a new call center in that end of town. We're starting to see redevelopment come to town because people love what's happening in Hendersonville. Galton Road, particularly on the West Main side, has 40,000 cars a day. People want to be there. It's got the same amount of traffic today that Indian Lake Boulevard has on. The prices are substantially different. So if that's happening, there's some things that I get asked all the time. I'm sure you ask, what about September's? Well, I'd love to put Sperry's White Tablecloth Restaurant in September's. I can't control the lease rate of September's. That's happening around town. You'll see the old Kmart Center. I think Kmart Center's got a strong chance of redevelopment. The old Food Line Center over at Glenbrook. Again, medical offices, redevelopment. We're starting to see, as the economy picks up, people looking at other parts of town because what they hear about Glenbrook, Indian Lake, it's exciting. It's a great time to be mayor, to live here in this town. You'll see redevelopment occur both in the town center and West Main due to the folks coming to be a part of Hendersonville. It's exciting. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. And don't get too comfortable because you get the first opportunity at a brand new question. Where do you see the most important infrastructure needs and how do you propose to address them? If you will, include your thoughts on repairs of deteriorating lesser residential roads in the city.
And we'll start with the lesser residential roads. We finally, in this year's budget, after 4 years of very tight budgets, added about $1.2 million to go back and do some extra paving, some extra sidewalks, and some extra street lights in some older parts of town. So that's moving forward. We've got $20 million of work in the pipeline for road work, including the widening of Shackle Island from the bypass to the Japanese Hardens, including the widening of the bypass at Indian Lake Boulevard. Those are huge projects that we have 80% federal matches for. Now, as we move forward with the realignment of Galton Road and Old Shackle and Walton Ferry, that project, we funded the right-of-way, we haven't funded the construction yet, so that'll be upcoming. We're going to fund that. As we move through the process, we need you to weigh in. Mr. Elston mentioned the Forest Retreat Interchange. That's a $12 million project that has to be 100% locally funded. We can take $12 million and find 8% match and do $90 million worth of work somewhere here in town. So we have to weigh where we get the most bang for the buck. It's exciting to see all the development that's beginning to happen with the road work. We also have a project underway right now to synchronize the lights down Galton Road, another issue that Mr. Elston mentioned. It's a $1.2 million, 100% federally and state funded grant. Hopefully, in the next 10 months, you'll see substantial change on the traffic signals down Galton Road. And at the time, we've operated on about 15 different intersections. We've repaved Bonita Parkway, we've redone the island at Anderson Lane, we've redone Center Point Road, the exit there. All of those are in preliminary development of that traffic signalization project. So we got a lot of great things moving forward. $20 million worth of pipeline. Thanks, Scott.
Perfect timing. Mr. Brown, same question. What do you see as the most important infrastructure need or needs? How do you propose to address them? And please include your thoughts on those lesser residential roads in the city that are falling into a state of disrepair.
Thank you, Mr. Council. I would propose maybe that we have a mayoral election every year for 5 years. Simply because of the fact we appropriated $1.2 million this year in an election year to fix some of those small infrastructure problems that we have. during that period of time, in all seriousness, figures coming from the mayor's office says that we still have over $2 million in infrastructure issues and drainage and things like that that need to be fixed. At that time, I asked the question, what are we going to do about these? That's a perpetuating plan, is what I was told. So what I would do would be, within my first 100 days in office, is to sit down and make 5-year plans that would allow us to plan out how we're going to fund fixing drainage issues that flood people's home on Diddle Drive, and some of those issues on Southburn that really need to be fixed. Yes, all those other things are in the pipeline. We have consumers and voters here at home that live in homes that their basements get flooded every single time it rains. And I think that's the important thing that we look at. So I would make 5-year plans to appropriate money out to fix those issues. Yes, we're fortunate that we're $200K up right now. That's a trend that says we might be $800,000 up by the end of the year. And I hope that you will shop here and eat here and help that trend go. And quite frankly, I would ask you, if you could, stop by Yokohama Steakhouse, Japanese Steakhouse on New Shack Island Road, and have a bite with those folks. Those are good folks that took a Hardee's restaurant and made it into a very productive place that employ about 10 to 12 folks in this community. Some of my friends in here eat there, and I eat there too. I don't know if the mayor has, but I would suggest he try it. Thank you.
Thank you. Got a red card up. You have 2 minutes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Well, when you brought up drainage, I think I've probably pushed to spend more money on drainage than any other mayoral candidate. We've got issues. You know, I've driven around at night 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and seen people turn their porch light off because the radar finally showed that the storm was gone. When we've got residents that can't sleep at night because their house is flooded 5 times in the last 5 years, we've got issues that need to be addressed. Those issues, you know, those issues can't wait 5 years. Those issues need to be addressed as soon as we can address them. Those residents pay their property taxes and they expect us to do our job. We've had an engineer for a mayor for the last 8 years, and we should not have the issues that we have with infrastructure. Whether it's paving, street lights, drainage, we shouldn't be having those issues. Thank you.
Last question, gentlemen, and each of the candidates will have an opportunity to address it, and we'll have our closing remarks. We talked about a lot of areas of opportunity: economic development, parks, infrastructure, transit, public safety, infill, redevelopment. What ideas do you have to bring adequate revenue to support the needs of the growing city? Mr. Brown, we will begin with you. The microphone upstairs here.
I think we, as the mayor leading our city, we need to do everything that we possibly can to keep Hendersonville a great place to work, play, and live. And actually, I think that's really what we talked about up here in almost every question. How do we continue to keep Hendersonville a great place to work, play, and live? But we have to fund things in order to do that. We have to fund police and fire, public works, planning. We have to pay our employees. I think we need to, we've received a lot of grant money through the police department and fire department because we have people that work diligently writing those grants to buy equipment and to fund employees. So I would continue to urge that we do that. We continue to make sure that that happens. I think it's very important that we keep shopping and eating and dining and spending our money in this city. When you're $200,000 up for the first 3 months and you're on an $800,000 trend, we need to do that. And I'm not telling anybody not to go to Nashville once in a while. That's most of us moved out here so we can drive to Nashville occasionally and wouldn't have to live downtown. So that's something we enjoy. I think it's very important that we as a city government look at spending our money very frugally. And I'll give you a couple examples of that. I think we desperately need a policy where we only pay one cellular provider. not 5. I think we need a policy where we pay one body shop, not 3 or 4. And that's called centralized purchasing. I think when we do that, we save money. I also think it's very important that we only spend money that's budgeted and voted on and passed by the board. I don't think we build pavilions behind City Hall with taxpayer dollars out of line item. Thank you.
Mr. Elson, state question. What ideas do you have to bring adequate revenue to support the needs of this growing city?
Thank you, Scott. I think, I know we've all heard time and time again, shop local, buy local, it helps our sales tax revenue. I think that needs to become part of our daily lives, and we need to do that without even thinking about it. Maybe we put some business tax incentives in place to incentivize doing business local. The more money we all spend local with other businesses, the more we help our local economy, the more profitable that we make our other local businesses, and the more sales tax revenue the city ultimately receives. I think we've got to do more than just talk about that. I believe with the revitalization of some of the older parts of town, because Mayor Foster's right. Everyone can't afford to be in Indian Lake. Everyone can't afford to be in Glenbrook. But we can't let the older parts of town run down any worse than they already have either. We've got to take care of those residents too. I believe if all of us do everything in our power to do business local, I think, I don't know that there's anything that you can't buy right here in Hendersonville. You don't have to go to Rivergate, you don't have to go to Gallatin. And we need to support our local businesses. That will help our local businesses and the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Forsythe, what ideas do you have to bring adequate revenue to support the needs of this growing city?
The revenue side of the equation is one thing, the expenses side is another. Revenue for the city of Hendersonville is our property tax. $9 million a year in property tax. I don't know anybody wants to agree today to support a property tax. In fact, I would like to manage the next 4 years where you never see a property tax. The other big income stream is sales tax. We have about $8 million in sales tax. We have 0.25%, which is called local optional sales tax. We could increase sales tax, but we could do that. That would be one possibility of paying for some of this revitalization for a big city participates in the purchase of some of these properties. I'm not sure anybody wants to pay more sales tax. The other and third and only income stream that's significant is state shared income. The state forwards for each resident lives in Hendersonville, we get $110 a year. That comes in different forms of different types of revenue categories, but it's state shared revenue we get. We can't increase that. The state sets that every year when they set it. So our income stream is pretty much, that's it. It's revenue from citizens. Now, the only other income in addition to that is our codes and planning area. One thing that I proposed, I guess it was 4 years ago, is that we change our building code fees and we increase them. There's a pamphlet that goes around that has the Southern Building Codes. It has the suggested price in your region of building, what you charge per square foot. I think that is $55 a foot. I think that book is 8 years old. There have been numerous editions since then. You can't build dog houses for $55 a foot. Before we get to the next, what we hope to see, booming phase of residential commercial construction, I hope for the city to increase that fee. I don't want to gouge the builders. I just want them to pay a fair price that they pay a national builder, national Gallatin or German. Thank you.
Thank you. Scott Foster, last opportunity at this question. Which ideas would you like to bring forward to ensure adequate revenue to support the needs of this growing city?
Well, I don't think this is necessarily a great question, but I'll tell you that in 8 years I've proven that we don't have to raise property taxes to make it. We have doubled the sales tax revenue in this city in the last 8 years. The tax rate when I started was 72 cents. tax rate today is 65 cents. I can prove it. I can prove that to you. Through leadership, through this board, through our team, our tax rate has not increased. To generate new revenue, we had the Taste of Hendersonville this week. Can you imagine 8 years ago if we had the Taste of Hendersonville? We would have had Applebee's, Shoney's, Ruby's, and Blue Goose. We had the Taste of Hendersonville this year with 25 new restaurants at it. That has increased revenue. Where do we go from here? We have got to land those corporate white-collar jobs, the Cool Springs type corporations, somewhere in town. Whether it's the old Glenbrook Center, I say Glenbrook, Glen Oaks, old Glen Oaks Center, Glenbrook Center, Indian Lake Boulevard, we have got to get people working home. The bypass is slated to be widened in 2035. So we need to get people here at home working and enjoying life here. The only way to increase that revenue is to bring those corporate jobs to town. $1 that is made here in town generates $7 in revenue to local businesses. The multiplier is amazing. So we have got to find that white-collar corporate job, just like Wyndham beside the library. 200 employees, white-collar, nice jobs. We've got a couple big leads for big corporate headquarters. I need these guys that end up on the board. Obviously, one of us wins, the rest of us are gone. But I need the team that ends up on the board to be open to think about how we attract corporate headquarters. That will be the next solution to how we make it. Thanks.
Thank you. Got a red card. You have the floor for 2 minutes.
I'd like to address one statement that was just made. We need to groom white-collar jobs. This administration has had 8 years to groom white-collar jobs. Wyndham is a great piece to what we have. Wyndham is a great piece to what we have. Wyndham is a great piece to what we have. Those are white-collar jobs. I can't think of any more built out there. You've had 8 years to do that. They're not done. I agree. The board needs to be cooperative. There needs to be a consensus to move forward to get white-collar jobs, but there also needs to be a consensus to move forward to get blue-collar jobs. The people I deal with every day in what I do now, I need blue-collar jobs at $10, $12, $14 an hour. They spend money in this city as well. They bring income in this city. They spend money at your businesses. They eat at the restaurants in this city. So yes, we need white-collar jobs. It's been 8 years of trying to get white-collar jobs. The board has went along with several things to get white-collar jobs. So, but I think we need blue-collar jobs just as well. We're not going to, and not everybody's going to wear white-collar. Some people are going to wear blue-collar jobs. Recruitment needs to be a broad band, around the circle, holistic thing. Thank you.
Each of the candidates will now be given 2 minutes to make a closing statement. And remember how we began. We're going to go in reverse order like we started on the opening statements in the interest of fairness. Scott Foster, you have the first opportunity. 2 minutes.
Again, Hendersonville is in a strong, beautiful, striving, vibrant condition right now. We're as strong as we've been in many years. We just got our new bond rating. We're AA rated 2, which makes us stable. Standard, of course, made that rating. I agree with Alderman Brown to an extent. I'd be interested in where Mr. Brown would put the industrial development that he wants. All of us want blue-collar jobs. We've got very limited space for that. We have made expansions on the blue-collar side, not because of what the city did, but because of what our own corporations did. MGM just built a new 100,000 square foot building to build windows. We work on that. We work on that daily. A lot of excitement to come over the next 2 to 3 years. We've got more people looking. I've said it before, but all those things you tell me you want, the fresh markets and the organic food stores, all those things are looking. And I look so forward to helping those people get into town, get them town, get them engaged in our park system, get them engaged in our chamber. This is an 800-member chamber. Everything can be done through this chamber. These 3 guys aren't members. They talk about working with the businesses to develop more business in town. They're not engaged. Mr. Forsythe just joined the other day to be a part of the taste. You guys have seen me. You see me out and about. I am so excited to be your leader now and I hope that you'll let me be your leader in the next 4 years. I absolutely want and need your vote. It's exciting times in Hendersonville. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Forsythe, 2 minutes.
Well, thank you very much. I didn't realize I just joined the other day for that purpose. I didn't even join, actually. But I've been involved in our community in a lot of ways. I was on the board of Bluegrass Country Club for 6 years. I was the treasurer and the board director when we leased this Flood Corps Corporation. It's been a great deal for the community. It's been a win-win for the membership to our community that we take here. Today you've heard a lot of facts and figures. Let me give you one. I've been a financial manager for 41 years. 41 years. That's a lot of budgets, that's a lot of forecasting, that's a lot of projections, that's a lot of analysis, that's a lot of management time. Managing assets, managing people. When I started out a while ago, I mentioned that the skills of new leadership should be, skills of new mayors should be the leadership skills, their experience, and their financial management. I think I bring that to the table, unparalleled by anybody else on the board, and I ask you very much, I tell you very much, I'd like to be your mayor. I ask you for your vote, and I thank you for your attention today.
Thank you. Mr. Elston, 2 minutes.
Thanks, Scott. I want to be a mayor for our entire city. I want to address issues that have gone neglected for the last 8 years. I think we need to concentrate on older parts of our city, revitalization, redevelopment. Our residents have suffered flooding and damage due to drainage problems that should have been resolved long ago. I want to take advantage of our shoreline. You know, do everything that the city can do to help bring new business into town. The exit ramps off 4th Street Road, you know, maybe we need to work with the state to try to get that done. I think quite a few of our businesses, including MGM, in our industrial park, have been told that those exit ramps were going to be built ever since they built their buildings up there 15 years ago. I know the economy's tough right now, our budget's tight. Our city is in the perfect location for transportation. We have lower fuel costs. Driving around Nashville, we have probably, us in Gillisville, have the lowest fuel cost in all Middle Tennessee. I love this city. I want to see it thrive and grow, but we need to make sure we're growing in the right direction. Under my administration, I will put our local businesses and residents first. I want to thank y'all for your time and your patience with us today, and I would appreciate your vote on November 6th to be your next mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Elston. Steve Brown, 2 minutes, sir.
All right, I would just tell you that as your mayor, or as your prospective mayor, hopefully, I feel that the greatest asset this city has is you, our business owners, and you, our residents. You are what this city's about. That's why 51,000 of us live here, to enjoy our parks, to enjoy the life we have. I think that it's essential that we have good infrastructure, that we have good paved roads, that we have lighting in our neighborhoods, that we help our police department, our fire department stay above the curve and ahead of the curve when it comes to public safety. I think it's essential that we develop park and recreation areas, Passing Park. I haven't had a chance to mention this today, but I would love to develop a dog park in our city. Over 60% of the people I talk to have four-legged friends. And we have one in Goodlettsville, we have one in Gallup. And the quality of life issue to me is a place to take my pups and walk. And see some of them smiling, so I think that might hit home with you a bit. I would like to bring out the town center plan again, and I would like to dust off the Hendersonville Tomorrow plan again. A lot of people have put a lot of work in those things and really look at them and see what we can do. But I would tell you, Hendersonville is a very unique city. The first time I ever rode through it, years and years ago, it was kind of unique to see lake on both sides of the road. And then riding through it to see our kids, our teenagers and our grandkids playing volleyball in a hot summer night. We're taking a boat ride. We're going to Rock Castle to learn about our history. We're a very unique town. being the mayor of the city is not just a job for me. I would take it very serious. It's not a stepping stone for me. I'm not going anywhere after I'm mayor of this city, but home, and home will be here in Hendersonville. So I would appreciate your consideration for a vote. I thank you again for being here and spending your time. I appreciate you so much. See you on November 6th. My time's up. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give all of these candidates